I'm pretty sure.
Yeah!
Gotta get their fast shot.
Yeah!
Gotta get their fast shot!
Hello Britball Nation and a belated welcome to the power rankings for BUCS American Football Division 1 following Week 11's fixtures. Obviously these rankings are out late. We're just so busy here at DC as we continue to expand our coverage, which now includes full coverage of the women's game as the Sapphire Series got underway yesterday. As such, there's actually been a couple of Week 12 games completed already, but we figured we'd make sure we get these out even if it's a little late, so we know what movement there is when we share our final Uniball power rankings following the weekend's fixtures. No teams cut from the rankings this week, though a couple of teams came very close to pinching a spot, including the Kent Falcons and Leeds Carnegie. Both teams are definitely heading to playoffs, but will determine their seeding by their performance this weekend, as Carnegie take on the Rams for the number 2 spot in the 1A Northwest, while Kent clash with Cambridge and are yet in with a shot at the 1A Southeast crown. Of course, lest we forget to mention the Pythons themselves, who still sit at the number 1 spot in the Southeast, but have looked out of sorts in recent weeks, torn apart by the Imperials and only taking away a modest win against Rull. It's all on the line this weekend, as a loss could see them tumble from the number 1 spot in their conference that they've held all season long down to the 3rd place berth and potentially a long old trip in the first round of playoffs. All that said, let's take a look at our top 10 teams in Division 1.
10.
The Stingers are locked into the number 2 spot in the 1A South behind an undefeated Destroyers. While they know they're headed to playoffs, there's still a lot to play for, as a win might yet see them potentially sneak a home berth in the quarterfinals. Though actually it'll be a tightly run thing between the Stingers and the teams in the Southeast, who could yet see the conference end up with a 3-way 6-2 tie at the top.
9.
Rams slide just a smidge as others climb. This weekend's game against Leeds decides whether they go up as either likely the 4th seed in the North, with a home game in the quarters that they'll be eager to take advantage of, or slip into the lower seedings and risk a trip to one of the hot favourites in the North, either Nottingham or Hallam.
8.
Glasgow head to Newcastle this Sunday to wrap up a regular season that, despite being a superb season in many teams' books, will have left the Tigers hungry for vengeance come the playoffs. Again, they're playing for seeding and hoping to make their postseason travels as short as possible.
7.
We're placing Warwick here on the pretense we don't know the result from their title clash yesterday. The reality is, any other year the Wolves might have walked their conference, and just because they're likely heading into the postseason as a 2nd place seed, do not underestimate this Midlands side come the postseason.
6.
The hype from their huge turnaround win against Cambridge cooling, the Immortals slide a couple of spots. Their conference, however, certainly has the most interesting final day of the regular season across all the tiers, as while we know that 3 teams from the 1A Southeast are postseason bound, each team's ranking, 1st to 3rd, is still up for grabs. For the Immortals at least, their fate is partially out of their own hands. Beating a winless Rull is certainly a necessity, but they'll also be looking for some help from Kent if they want to snatch the conference crown.
5.
Pompey now sit as one of only a tiny number of teams that survived their season in the middle tier unscathed, and indeed currently have a win streak going back to 2015. How then have we only placed them 5th in our rankings, with multiple teams that have suffered losses so far this season placed above them? Well, as we keep emphasising each week, Pompey are winning, but they're likely giving their coaches stomach ulcers through stress while doing so, with 5 of their 8 wins coming by a score or less.
4.
The Sharks wrap up a comeback season against Sunderland this Sunday, and we don't expect to see too many problems for them, as neither team has a great deal to play for here. Both are locked into 1st and 4th in their conference respectively, and will want to keep their guys healthy. There's not even really postseason seeding to worry about for Hull, though odds are they will be looking to enter the postseason with a good head of steam.
3.
We've forgiven Hallam for their narrow loss to the Rams, and they climb back up the rankings as they return to dominant form in a 36-0 win over Manchester last weekend. They're one of the offensive powerhouses in the tier entering the postseason, and odds are the only team they're really wary of meeting might well be the Rams, whose defence seem to have found the key to shutting down Dutch Stevenson and the Hallam O in both their previous outings.
2.
Again, let's pretend we don't know yesterday's result, and the fact is it's been a remarkable season for a Cardiff side that had a lot of rebuilding to do following mass losses over the off-season. They've emerged from Swansea's shadow and all season long have found ways to win. Their priority will likely be to enter the postseason as healthy as possible.
1.
And, without knowing yesterday's result, no surprises, Nottingham are now within a couple of days of completing a full season atop our power rankings. Will anyone be able to challenge UNAF and their scholars, or is their first test of the season likely to be in the Robin Hood Bowl as they meet their longtime rivals the NTU Renegades for their varsity matchup? 2 ships passing in the night as Not to Climb and NTU fall. There you have it, nation, your Division 1 rankings for Week 11. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll hurry up and share the Premiership rankings too before they become entirely irrelevant. In the meantime, play hard, play safe, and remember to check out doublecoverage.com/apply in the coming days for details of the roles we're going to have opening up, especially for avid video editors, so we might finally catch up with our workload.